Jackie Kashian, Laurie Kilmartin.
Ms. Kilmartin?
Oh man, we're already in a terrible mood.
Oh, I was in a terrible mood before I got in. It's
Tell me.
I have vertigo, and several people on the internet told me I don't have vertigo, and I was like, I'm sorry, Dr. XZ Bob 127 hashtag. Your medical degree and my medical degree. At least my degree has the word science in it. How about that? I have a degree in poli-sci. I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's not good. It's not. Let me just say from the start, two things. Telluride, Colorado is extraordinarily beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely everyone I've dealt with has been a beautiful human being. Because I picked up the car in Denver and I drove here because there was a mess last week. I did the travel wrong. It's a bad. Oh, I'm just gonna cry all during this show. Please tune in to the Jackie and Laurie show where you get insight into how crazy making the road can be. So I've done Aspen and Vail and everywhere else, and it literally, you fly in, somebody else drives on these mountain roads. The ones that don't have any railings.
Right.
That plunge to 2,000 feet beneath you to your death. So I don't know if this is vertigo or oxygen deprivation or both, but it has never been this bad because I tend to get a little dizzy and almost and I have to really adjust when I go over even those big suspension bridges in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And the Mackinac Bridge in northern Michigan. I just eat the car in front of me and just concentrate on that as opposed to the expanse. And so I'm driving up this mountain hill from Montrose, Telluride, from the city of Montrose to the furthest, by the way. This hotel is the furthest from the festival. I have to take 2 gondolas and a shuttle.
Yeah.
And so
what's the name of it?
Bear Lodge Creek.
I think
Creek
that's what
Lodge.
I stayed in. Yeah.
Yeah, I would something that's never going to happen again, but if it were, I would want to stay in this town of Telluride, please. They're just I'll stay in a closet. I don't give a shit. I'm just somewhere and so I can't breathe and I'm doing these things. It's bad enough in Denver. Like in Denver I can't breathe because I have oxygen issues. But I will say this is that so I'm driving up and I almost pass out like 3 times.
Holy shit. That's terrifying.
And so I get to this hotel and I'm shaking like a whippet. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually not okay. And I don't know how I'm going to get off this mountain." And so
Oh my God.
So I called the transportation guy. I finally get a hold of him and he's like, "Well, this is a new one for me. And I have to figure it out logistically because what you need is you need." And so what I'm doing is I assume I'm throwing money at this because I'm not driving back to Denver. One of the other comics who's driving back to Denver is going to drive tomorrow. And a guy is coming in about an hour to pick up the car from transportation to bring it to the Montrose Telluride Airport, to the car rental place there.
Wow.
So I'm going to give him some money. I'm going to pay less car rental some money. I'm going to but here's the thing. He was like, "Hey, can you drive the car down to Telluride so I can pick it up there?" And I was like, "No, I specifically cannot. I specifically cannot get in that car again and drive down a mountain from this lodge to it. If I could drive to Telluride, I could drive to Montrose."
No one else can drive for you? Drive with you?
That's what I was asked. So what they've organized is for this guy to come up. The thing is, it's all going to be fine. What makes me super crazy is that there was no plan. And so then I'm like, well, I live here now. Or I'm going to abandon a $70,000 Ford Explorer and just fucking keep moving. So,
wow.
So I'm literally in pieces. So
That
can't.
sucks.
It'll be fine
Yeah.
once it's over. Once I'm at sea level and I can think and I can breathe, it'll be fine. But I don't, comedians, and I've talked to the other comics in this thing, we just pride ourselves in not being any trouble.
Right.
And, this is a blues festival. I'm surrounded by musicians who, in many cases, live the same life, right? They're
Mhm.
like, no, I just want to play. I just want to play. Just let me play my thing. Sure, I'll schlep my own, I'll live in a van. I'll I'll carry
Yeah.
speakers and mics and and then there's in our business and in their business and probably in, you know, insurance adjusting, there's someone who's like, no, I'm going to sit here. You're going to revolve around me and you're going to make it happen. And that's what I feel like I'm doing, except for that is not what I'm doing. There's an issue. I have had to ask for some help and they're going to give me that help. And no one is mad at me. No one is mad at me. I think everyone is mad at me. And as much as everyone has been nice to me, I don't ever want to come back here again. It doesn't matter if they're mad at me. Charmy agrees with me. And so
That's Molly. It's a different dog.
different dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Molly's got my back. So
Ugh.
that's my tale. And then we're performing, of course. Yesterday is so funny because he was like, it's so cool. We're right next to a babbling brook. And I'm like, what is happening? And so
I
we
remember this one.
and there's no chairs.
Right.
And so that might have been my favorite set though. Just because just because it was
Yeah.
it was mellow.
Yeah.
And they're all mellow. I mean, can we lower the stakes? There's absolutely no money. Everyone is high and drunk. It's a blues festival.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm high and drunk because I can't breathe and I'm freaking out about the rest of my life. But yeah. So we did what is that one that we're doing? Oh, yeah, the first one I did was this 10 o'clock in an art gallery. And that was fun.
Mm-hmm. That sounds
They're all
cool.
fun. I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday it was 3 shows and but they're 15s and
Yeah.
I'm with Langston Kerman. Do you know him?
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's a fun show.
And Tom Takar. Do you know him?
I don't think I do.
Well, I know supposedly both of them. And when I left them last night, I said, this
Oh,
weekend,
no.
this weekend gives me about a 75% chance that I will remember you the next time I see you. And Tom, who was several glasses of wine into the event, Langston just went, puh. But he, of course, was on edibles. But Tom was just half in the bag. The three of us are terrified of the gondola. And
Really?
Tom goes, Jackie, it should be 90%. It should be 90% that you would recognize us.
Jackie, so are you telling me, wait, and Troy's there, right? Troy Walker?
No, he's
he's
for
not.
a Primetime Emmy. Congratulations, Troy Walker.
That's right.
And so a guy
Adam
named, Elliot
Adam?
Woolsey is running it.
Okay.
He's a Denver comic. He's very funny, incredibly sane. I called him this morning because the guy who asked me to drive down to Telluride, I was like, I don't know, maybe I can get Elliot to take the 2 gondolas up here and drive it down to Telluride. So it's 8:30 in the morning, and he goes, now? You want me to do it now? And I said, anytime between now and 11 a.m. And he was like, how about this? How about we just do it his way? And if it doesn't work, we'll fix it tomorrow. And I was like, I feel like you're both the voice of sanity and you're placating me. And so I hate you. I don't hate him. He is the voice of sanity. And so, but I wanted to just go say, I want it done my way. And here's what's happening. The guy from the transportation, he's coming.
Mhm.
He's coming at
Okay.
11, so we have to be done. And I can't. I'm like,
Right.
I don't mean to shake like a whippet and ask things of you, but please, if I don't watch you get in the car and drive away, I think this car will be sitting here forever. And then I will be paying off a Ford Explorer 2-bedroom SUV for the rest of my fucking life. And so,
The hard thing is like you were saying, we always want to not be any trouble because it's just been baked into our DNA. If you ask for anything, you won't get book backed, right? And
right.
it's hard to be like, listen, I've been doing this over 30 years. I never complain. I do everything myself. I can give you a list of things, of mountains I've climbed by myself to be able to do stand-up comedy, metaphorical, especially in this case. So
Ugh.
when I'm telling you I'm shaking right now, I'm not a hothouse flower. I am actually shaking. I never shake, and I need some help. It's really hard to explain that to somebody who doesn't know you and doesn't go, oh, if Jackie's having a problem with this is bad, because Jackie doesn't have problems with anything.
Right. And it's exactly, I want to spend a great portion of my time going, I know I'm a project this weekend, and I've never
Mhm.
ever wanted to be someone's project. So
Right.
yeah, but also they deal with actual people who are a project on the regular basis. And so yeah, the
Musicians.
fear is to
Yes.
well, and the fear is that we get lumped in, right?
Right,
With
right.
that. And then I
Mhm.
get a rep that Jackie's hard to work with. Jackie's, we wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want to find out that Jackie's hard to work with. Make sure Jackie, I want her to dig her own grave and throw herself into it so I could just shoot her. And I'm like,
She'll never work the Everest Festival. All the
Christ.
other
I was
high mountain festivals.
I was just there's this woman who wants me to come to Switzerland, and I've just realized I'm not going to Switzerland.
Give her my name, please, for God's sakes. Get me out of here.
I know.
I can
It's,
stay in Switzerland.
No, I know, because you're a member of the EU.
Yeah. I
It's
like
very
to work that in
glamorous.
once per podcast. So consider that done.
All right, just so everyone remembers, Laurie Kilmartin, member of the EU. So yeah, what have you been doing?
What are the big acts that are there? Anyone that you want to see if you could get there?
It was Ben. You know how I am with. I mean,
Ben Folds
this
and
is my
the
life.
Ben
No.
Folds 5.
Taylor
Okay.
Swift is here, and Billy Joel, and then also
Okay, that was a bad
Kashian.
question.
I don't know.
And
It was a bad question because
I apologize.
Yeah, there's a guy named Gary
Cannon?
Clark Jr.
Clark Jr. and a guy
Yeah.
named
Gary
Ben
Cannon?
Harper.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ben Harper. He used to go out
Yeah.
with Laura Dern. I think they have a kid together, or two even.
So not shooting blanks.
Yeah.
Good for you, Gary.
Ben.
Ben.
I don't think Laura Dern would date a Gary. That's my opinion.
It is. These shows are actually. I mean, these two guys. You would think I would remember them because they're both genuinely really funny, and I'm having, as is Elliot, but and I'm having a really good time watching them perform. But they we're all just like kind of wandering around going, oh, no, I'm not gonna say that, but yeah, so we're wandering around doing sets, and they're in interesting venues. Like we were on the floor of the Blues stage. The Blues stage is an indoor venue.
Mhm.
We're not on the main stage, which is good because the main stage is just full of those mic stands that are bent. I don't want to. I've never enjoyed a bent mic stand. I don't have a guitar. I don't have a puppet. I just would like an up and down mic stand.
Thank you.
And that one was full. That one probably had 400, 500 people in it. And and that should have been the best set of the weekend. so far. But quite honestly, the campsite was my favorite set so far. Though the first night at the art place was pretty good too. That was fun.
I remember
And
that, our place now. That was really fun. And we had a second, I think there was a second show there too. That
in one
wasn't
night
as,
or
no, later in the week maybe, and I had less people, and I was
yeah.
like, oh, I wish I just remember the first one. But that was great. And that little part of town is so
Yeah.
fun and awesome, and coffee houses, and yeah, once you get into Telluride, however you get in there, it's so quaint and beautiful, and
Being a billionaire and having someone
yeah.
just drop you in while you're strapped to their back on a parachute, and then somehow you being crane lifted out.
Yeah.
It is interesting because I remember the first time I went to Aspen was in '96. And
Hmm.
I went to the Aspen Comedy Festival, and I had never seen kids in fur jackets. And so what I'm seeing now, because it isn't winter, it's 45, 50 degrees, but um I am seeing children that are so incredibly tricked out. I was like, okay, so you have been put into a rock tumbler and you're wearing bell bottoms and Lululemon. I mean, like, I don't even know the brand names. I don't even,
Yeah.
that's probably just crummy to them. Lululemon, I think that's an expensive yoga pant. Anyway,
It
but
is.
the, yeah. And so a couple of the comics are kind of busting the balls of, like, the MC's from, and he's not the MC, he's just going first. He's taking Troy's spot, right?
Yeah.
And he's from Colorado. And so he does like a joke about how nobody from Colorado who was raised normal comes to Telluride. He's like,
Yeah.
nope.
It's
And
those are Nepo hedge funders learning to take over your healthcare and break it into parts and make it more expensive for you to get cancer. But right now they're adorable. They're 12.
This was my closest chance to performing for a billionaire. And at the campsite, I was like, I can't imagine there's any billionaires here, just because even if they wanted to camp, it wouldn't be here. They would camp on top of the mountain and then come down for coffee or some
Be
damn
carried
thing,
down.
right?
They'd be carried down.
But they'd get a butler. And so I have 2 more shows today. We're driving back to Denver tomorrow. I go to Minneapolis on Wednesday.
Wow,
Hey,
that's a lot.
we're already 15 minutes in. Do you want to do your dates? We forgot to open with the dates. Remember we were going to open with the dates?
Right. Hey, can we let's just pause for a sec, and I'm going to pull up my calendar. Jackie, is yours up? Can you start?
Yeah, I know exactly, because I've been thinking about leaving here for a long time. So I'm Jackie Cation. If you go to JackieCation.com, I think I'm current up till the end of December, though I did have some additions. So this is September 15th. The week of the 18th through the 21st, of course, I'm at Home Club, Acme Comedy Company, where I'm hoping to get to see Louis Lee, and I'm hoping he's feeling okay. And then the week after that, the 26th and 27th, I'm in Milwaukee at the Improv.
Cool.
I'm doing Milwaukee Improv fill-in on the Thursday and Friday. I think it's 3 shows, and then the 28th, I'm outside of Sacramento, 2 hours outside of Sacramento. I'm flying into Sacramento. It's called Grass Valley, and that's the end of the month. That's the 28th. So in October, I have 2 gigs, sort of like a Thursday, Friday, opening up for Gary Gulman in Arroyo Grande, California on the Thursday, and Bakersfield, you guys, Bakersfield on the Friday. And the following week, I'm doing 1 or 2 shows in Cincinnati at a place called Bombs Away. It's a new comedy club on the 12th of October. I don't know what else I'm doing. I don't even have an airplane ticket there. But here's what's going to happen. I told them I would do it, so I'm coming. And after that, I'm also another new club in October, Beaches Comedy Club in Florida. And that is, I wish I could tell you the name of that, Panama City, Florida. So it's on the Gulf. It's called Beaches Comedy Club, and I'm there the 18th and 19th of October. Other than that, I have to tell you, I have to cancel the Manteca. Is it Manteca?
Manteca.
Manteca. There we go. The Manteca weekend, because it's in December. Just know that I'm not coming to the Deaf Puppy in December, and I don't know if I'll come back. I don't know if my emails are bouncing. I've sent him 3 or 4 emails just to tell him I have to either move the date or I have to cancel. And I've been trying to get to him, and I'm not getting any response. So, but I have picked up sort of a big money gig that weekend, and I have to. He's got to understand he's a comic, and it's 3 months from now. He'll be able to replace me pretty easily. Anyway, my November is Pittsburgh and Vermont and Toronto. Outside of Toronto, everyone from Toronto knows that it's not in Toronto. It's in Hamilton, Ontario, an hour and a half from Toronto. So it might as well be in Alaska. But feel free to set out from Toronto and give yourself some time, because Monday, I think it's Tuesday, the 12th of November, Hamilton, Ontario. Please come to that. That's a very big show for me. The following weekend, or that weekend, I'm in Portland, Maine at the Empire Comedy Club, 15th and 16th of November. And then I think that's November. And then the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of November, I'm opening for Maria in Rockford, Illinois, Madison, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Jackie,
So
Hamilton is the birthplace of my dead grandmother, and that did not get me Canadian citizenship. So I don't know. Make what you will.
I could go to a cemetery in Hamilton and see a Kilmartin bone.
No,
no,
no, Jackie. It's the maternal grandmother. She died in Chicago. But yes, my other ancestors, yes, you could. And I know you won't, so I'm not even going to ask.
And then at the end of the year, I'm in Chicago doing I'm in Chicago with Maria the 12th and 13th of December, and the 14th of December, and then I think at some point, Dr. Grins, that's right. I'm closing out the year. I think my last gig of the year is the 19th through the 21st in Grand Rapids at Dr. Grins.
That'll be awesome. All right, so here I go. I'm in Albuquerque next weekend, Friday and Saturday, the 20th and 21st at the Albuquerque Funny Fiesta. I'm in New York City, headlining at the West Side Comedy Club on Friday, the 27th. 2 shows, that's it. The Sunday, the 29th, I will be in Vancouver, British Columbia, opening for Gary Gulman. October 3rd through the 6th, I'm at Sunnyvale at Rooster Teeth Feathers, one of the first clubs I ever worked, and I've worked there like every year or 18 months since I started doing stand-up. I'm at Washington, D.C., November 1st at the City State Brewing Company. In Philly, I'm at Helium, November 2nd. It's a 4 p.m. show. And I guess this is my audition to see if I can pull people in. So please come to the Philly show. It will be kind of nice to be done by 6 o'clock. And then go to bed or go see another show. I'm in Eugene, Oregon on November 7th. I am in Portland, Oregon at the Siren on November 8th. You know what? I'm in Chicago a month before you guys. I'm at the Comedy Plex November 15th and 16th. That's in Oak Park. It's a newer club. I'm at both mic drops, San Diego and Chandler, back to back. Thursday the 12th and then December 13th and 14th. I will be driving from San Diego to Chandler on that Friday. That's going to be painful.
Is Chandler in the Bay Area?
No, Chandler, Arizona.
Oh, jeebity Christmas. Okay.
Yes, San Diego to Chandler. And then I just picked up The Dead Crow in Wilmington, December 27th and 28th. So
nice.
My December's starting to pick up a little bit. So if you're near any of those towns, please, as we both say, please come to our live shows. You know, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
So
now talk to me about your week. Yeah.
I just need one person to acknowledge how much fucking driving I did this week. Okay.
I could do it. I could be the one.
Thank
Yes.
you. So Thursday I have a show in Sonora, which is way up in Northern California. It's a little east of Merced. So it's almost like driving to the Deaf Puppy again. And it's basically, it's all Highway 99, which is even more low rent than I-5 and even more pro-Trump and anti-abortion than I-5.
That's where my mother-in-law lived for the last 25 years.
I drove past Visalia and I was like, how the fuck did she do this every single week? I don't understand.
Oh,
So,
right, yeah.
Yeah. So I drive up there, staying in a little hotelette. It's a casino. The casino, for some reason, they won't put us up at their hotel, which would be very easy. So we're staying
Right.
a mountainy sort of drive, 2-lane highways, about 15 minutes away. And I decided I can't afford to have something happen to my car, right? So I decided to rent a car just because I didn't know if I was going to be overheating and driving in those conditions and stuff. So I rented a car. So that's an extra $250 in costs with the car rental and gas and stuff, right? But
Right.
if something happens to my car and I have to pay $20,000 for a used car, I'm fucked. Okay, so
Preventative, good choice. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm up there. It's a casino gig. It's the showroom is a music room. So there's no door between the showroom and the casino. So it's just really noisy. The chairs are spread out. Yeah. Everything is working again. Everyone there was nice, but as a performer, everything's working against you. I'm shouting. I'm exhausted from the drive. I was baking.
Right, because you drove and then performed.
Right. Just like one of those days, right? Then, stay over and then drive back. But then I'm driving back on Friday, right? My son has a water polo tournament inland in Claremont. Now, did you ever go to the Claremont Flappers?
Yes.
On a Friday afternoon? It's
what
murder.
A terrible idea.
Horrific.
It is murder.
Not only that, but I have to do it after a 6-hour drive from Sonora, right? So I'm my body's like in this bent, horrible position. I drive out there, watch one game. I can't see the second game. The second game, for some fucking reason, starts at 8 p.m. And so I can only see one game.
Right.
So they win. I leave. I go to the west side in Santa Monica. I'm not even doing anything near me. I'm going all the way. Then I'm going to Santa Monica, driving to Santa Monica. And then
he took a picture of you on stage.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You looked
so I saw her. We took a pic, and then I finished it off at the Comedy Store, and it was fine. I was wiped out. I was like, I just have to summon 15 minutes of energy. Please, God, let me find it, because my contacts were blurry. That's how tired I was. Like I was using the iPhone app because I was having a hard time seeing the road. I'm just like double checking where I am. And thank God I know where I'm driving, because I was like, even my contacts are tired. Like they're like, we can't help you anymore. And then it went home to me. I got to keep a pair of backup glasses in my car, which I do now. Okay. So then, and all this, I have to return the rental car too. Okay. But that's a tiny thing. That's all on Friday. Then Saturday morning, now the tournament moves to Whittier. So now we're driving to Whittier in the morning yesterday, and then back, and then last night. Oh my God, I already forgot what I did last night. What was last night?
Saturday. That's right, that Santa Barbara gig.
So I'm driving to Whittier. I watch a water polo again. I can't watch the second one. It starts at 2, and I got to be in Santa Barbara at 7, and I have to go home and shower and get ready. So that happened. Did the show in Santa Barbara. It was a lot of fun. Again, I was certain for my show. I'm praying for the ability to finish the show, and then I drive home, and I collapsed, and then I had an 8 a.m. podcast, and
with me, yes, and I like that you said yes. Oh, and audio troubles that took a half an hour. And I
Yes.
just got a text from the guy who's going to drive the car. He's like, "I'm going to be there in 15 minutes." I'm like, "Well, then you're going to kick back for about a half an hour because we're about a half an hour into this program." Speaking of which, let's do comic of the week and take a break.
Okay. We're
Go
back.
for it.
So this woman I met in Paris.
Pardon
And
me while I pick that up. You dropped the name.
well, I could have met Paris, Texas, where I also performed this year, Jackie. But this time I met
That's
Paris, France. And it's weird. I have two folders in my videotape collection of Paris for
Oh, that's
for
hilarious.
2024. It's weird. And her name is Wafa, and her last I don't know her last name. Her Insta is Wafa Comedy, and she's really funny and she's nice, and I felt like we hit it off immediately. And I think she is the only hijab wearing comedian in France.
I saw
or
that.
Paris.
No, in Paris. What? How are you spelling Wafa?
WAFA.
One F.
Yes.
There she is.
And
Wafa Comedy.
We have sons her sons are a couple years younger than my son, but her older son looks so much like my son. Like, I was staring at him because he was at the club when I was there. I was like, "What?" And then I showed her my son, and she's like, "What?" It was just weird.
And weirdly enough, your son is named Muhammad.
These genetic combos, they produce these very similar looking kids, although very different backgrounds. Anyway,
I watched her first reel, and she's very funny.
Yes.
She's just very
and very
and
charming
and great
and
Yes.
bubbly. Like, she has that it thing that people want to have. But she also has 2 kids, which is that's a lot of work too, right?
It is a lot of work. Yeah.
And apparently in France, you're not allowed to wear a hijab or something
Not
about
to school. Yeah.
it's
Or your driver's license, I think. Yeah.
well, you're people get dinged financially if they hire somebody who's wearing a hijab. So
What? Wait.
Yeah, so she has to work against that as well. It's really, really fucked up.
Wait, the dinged how? Like
Financially
or is
penalized.
it just are you just talking about basic there's not laws. You're talking about just racism, right?
No laws. They're if you hire someone wearing hijab, and I'm sure we'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but employers get some sort of financial penalty. It was explained to me, but maybe I didn't understand it perfectly. But France is very problematic when it comes to that shit. So that doesn't surprise me.
Okay, in April of 2011, France became the first European country to impose a ban on full-face veils in public areas. But bans on hijabs are in place in several sports, including football, basketball, and volleyball, at both professional and amateur level, and bans on religious headwear in general in sports, and a ban on full face coverings in public. So she can wear a hijab, but she can't wear the face part of it.
I would say I would defer to her what she can do with that, with or without repercussions. Yes. Yeah. So whatever their law is you're reading on Google, how it's enforced or how it's, that I would trust her opposed to
and it's just straight racism, clearly, right?
Yeah.
So
anyway,
I was just
she's very funny, and check her out, Wafa Comedy. And
WAFA, just one F. Yeah, that's awesome.
Very easy. Very easy.
Mm-hmm. Good for her.
Yeah.
Well, so I am really looking for I because they're all 15s, and I feel, and I can't tell these Telluride people apart. I've been trying to do different 15s at each set, and not really, mostly just doing my favorite. I'm rotating the favorites of stuff, and but it's Langston has a very funny joke about voting for. He's like, you guys should all vote for Trump. I can't do it. My wife will kill me. But I just want to see how the story of white people ends. If you could just. It's very funny, and Tom is great, and Elliot's great, and plus, when so last night I worked on the Karen bit, and it was okay.
Mhm.
The 3 bits with me having to take the gondola 4 times, and the last time before the gig was in the dark, and
You
and
must have hated
so
that, huh?
just swaying and just not
Were you by yourself in the
ideal.
gondola?
I did a live TikTok on the first ride in the gondola. I've done two videos. If I'm alone in the gondola, I did a video. I was
You're
like,
bringing the internet down with you.
I have to bring the internet with me just because then I'm not thinking. Though
Right.
on the way to the gig, I listened to a speech. I listened to a motivational speaker guy, which was like, just listen. You like this guy. He's great. And so, so I just closed my eyes and tried to think of it as the rocking of a car, and not anywhere near a cliff. And but the thing is I take a shuttle. It's 40 minutes. I mean, I get why this guy didn't want to come, but
Right.
because you gotta take a shuttle to the main town in Mountain Village, wherever I am, and then you take another gondola to the further along in Mountain Village, and then you get out of the gondola and you call the hotel and they send a shuttle. Well, yesterday I got in the wrong hotel shuttle, and we went to the market, and I said, "You're going to Bear Creek next, right?" And he goes, "No, this is it's Meadowlands or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, well, I have to get out here. I'm so glad I asked." He said, "Yeah, nice meeting you." And I was like, "Okay." And then I had to call and tell Bear Creek shuttle that I had gotten in the wrong shuttle. So they shouldn't send the shuttle to where they had sent them, because I was already halfway there. And the guy's like, "Oh, I've been sitting here for some time." So I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah." So I've been tipping like I'm a billionaire, baby.
right.
And
Probably more than billionaires, by the way. Those guys don't tip at all.
why would they? They're billionaires. As I've said twice on stage this weekend, that's too much money, right? And there's been a
No.
resounding silence in response.
Just the comics are applauding.
Yes, exactly. Too
Um,
funny.
Last night I worked with Matt Kashian, and
Oh,
he's so funny. He's so funny. He's so good, and he is a new American citizen. He got his
right.
he got his citizenship 10 days ago, and he was just
That's
saying,
awesome.
mentioning the relief of all those things you kind of have to worry about. If you leave the house without if you get any sort of legal trouble, whether it's just getting pulled over and not having a driver's license, if you forgot it or something, that could
Yep.
threaten your entire life.
Status.
And
Yeah.
to not have to worry about that anymore is really nice. Because I don't know, we being born here, we just see what's wrong with it and stuff, and you're like, why? Like, I understand if you're coming from a war-torn country, why you want to come to the U.S., but Britain, they're doing pretty good, but hey, people still want it. Okay, cool, and I'm glad he got it, and he
I
can
like the
just
idea that
rest
he got it
easy.
because it's very complicated. Because it's
Yeah,
complicated being sort of married to an American citizen, but
right.
not a citizen. Yeah,
Yeah.
and ICE. I remember in like 2018 or 19, one of the bartenders at Acme has uh, got arrested and interred.
God
At ICE, and
damn.
I believe, yeah, and Lewis worked to get him out. Have I mentioned how great a guy Lewis Lee is? And every
Yeah.
episode, I like to mention. You like to mention that you're a member of the EU. I like to mention that Lewis Lee is a great guy. So,
Do
yeah,
you know that I
I
forgot? I just read this, and I guess I remember it in the back of my brain that Hillary Clinton, one of her plans was a buy into Medicare when you turn 55. So had she been elected with the Democratic Congress, that probably would be law right now. And you and I and everyone over the age of 55 could get kick-ass Medicare.
Huh.
Mhm.
Instead, there's 3 different kinds of Medicare, and we're supposedly supposed to avoid something called Medicare Advanced if we cannot get Medicare Advanced, because it
Okay.
is not advanced. You want to get like A or B. You don't want to get.
Yeah. All I know is
Yeah.
anytime my mom had a problem, they took care of it. I'm like, well, this is nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
It wasn't the runaround.
I
She wasn't on the phone with help and I'm still under guild insurance. It'll be ending at some point, but I'm just like I can't take what's coming, you know? I mean, I might move to Europe
Right.
just until I qualify for Medicare and then come back. I don't want to deal.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it's going to be like when we're supposedly retiring.
Mhm.
But I'm going to type a name.
Okay.
Her I forgot. I don't think this is public. Um
Ooh, where's my
but
chat? Okay.
it's on the right now.
Yeah.
You know what I think is a really good idea is if they change the user interface on apps. It's such a good idea is when they just change it arbitrarily and you're like, where's that button?
Right.
Yeah.
I just typed hello. I haven't seen your typing
It's
yet.
in the studio
Okay.
chat. Oh my God.
Wait.
Yeah.
That is very scary.
So right. So someone we know, their partner is very ill, but he's fine. He's stable, and
Oh shit.
but and I meant to tell you this is not the playtime to. I don't know why I brought this up. It's good for me, clock eater. But call her afterwards and just say, hey, I heard, and
Right.
I hope you guys are good. And
Mhm.
can I drive 6 hours one day to help you do anything? You could do that. You could just
Yep,
offer.
not this week, please. Next week.
Too funny. And yeah, I'm so tomorrow we're gonna drive, and it's an 8-hour drive from Telluride to Denver.
Oh God.
It
Right.
is.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm supposed to meet my friend. When I got here and I was driving to here, I was all full of plans, Laurie. I was
Oh,
gonna
I
get back
know.
to Denver. I was gonna leave super early, and I was gonna get back to Denver so I could see my friend Jillian. And it turns out I'm not doing that.
Right.
I will see her in January when I come to do the Comedy Works, which I believe is when I'm doing Comedy Works. And because we're gonna get to the airport at probably my flight is at 8 p.m. So we're gonna get there probably right at 6, which is when I want to get to the airport. I'm gonna fly home. Tomorrow I'm gonna do on Tuesday I'm gonna do laundry, and on Wednesday when this drops, I will fly to Minneapolis and do shows that night.
Oh my
So
God. Tomorrow
yes.
is hell, and oh my God. That's horrific.
Yeah, I know. And then I come home on Sunday, and I leave again for Milwaukee on Thursday.
And
So
what and yeah, I mean, what you decided not to stay over a couple extra days.
yeah, because I was just in Milwaukee, so I just
Right.
yeah. I mean, and I have to go home now because here's the good news. I've already packed my merch. I didn't bring any merch to this event, as you can imagine, even though there's a lot of people wearing beanies, and they might have enjoyed a beanie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it's hilarious. Yesterday I was in the VIP tent, and they were like 3 p.m. There's a raw oyster and shrimp bar. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. It just reminds me of that scene in Defending Your Life when Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. Albert Brooks is at Meryl Streep's hotel, and there's a ding dong lobster patties on the patio and champagne. I was like, it has a. It doesn't, but it does. It has a weird Hunger Games vibe, the first book, and so
I like how you said the first book, and then you actually showed us your book nerd shirt, and then you settled back
I
down
got
again.
this book nerd shirt because it says book nerd, and I didn't really realize that it's the rainbow flag. And then I joke about people thinking I'm gay. Why wouldn't they? What? But I am a good ally, and it says book nerd. So I mean,
Oh yeah,
I don't mean
no
to get
one's
defensive.
no one's
Yeah.
accusing you. I'm just saying it was
Right.
a.
The story of this entire weekend. No one is accusing me. Please, could that be the title of this episode? No
I
one
do
is
remember
accusing you.
when I did Veil, I got very sick and I couldn't even venture out of my hotel room to get water, and I was so dehydrated. And Mark Masters went shopping for me, and I'm like, I just need like water and Gatorade and crackers, something please to settle my stomach. And I felt like he doesn't know me, and now I'm asking him to go shopping for me.
Right.
But I never get sick, and I had a show that night, you know.
Yeah, so you needed a saltine.
Yes.
Hey, let's take another quick break and see what's
Okay.
going down. Did stuff go down? It did. It did. Let's talk about how we got a
What?
I liked this, and this we have a new cross MaxFun platform where you and I talk about what the show is.
Oh,
And the guy, I'm spacing his name because that's where I'm at. I might just carry this around to pretend that it's always Boost. That it's always this is the reason I forget names. It isn't. But he had a great sort of summation of this show that I think we should cannibalize we should crib off of his notes. I was looking for the email, and because it was, he said that he liked it, but it was one of those things where it's like, I liked what you guys said, but if you could say this, I mean, what I love about the show. And then he said some things that were very powerful and very beautiful. And I was like, oh, could you write that down? And we should tell people that that's what the show is. Because if that's what you're hearing, by God, let that be the pitch. Because we were just like, we're just bitching about stand-up. And he's like, I don't think that's what you're doing, but okay.
well, yeah, maybe someone else should tell us what it is. Maybe it should be
Yeah.
we should just say other people like this show. We don't know why, and you can make your own choice. But
And
listen
he wouldn't
to it.
he wouldn't want that either. He wouldn't be. People like it. I don't know that Frank Conniff wrote for Sabrina the Teenage Witch back in the 90s, and he used to do a bit about how telling people that he wrote for Sabrina the Teenage Witch, they'd be like, well, what is it? Do you like working there? And he would get super defensive and go, people like it.
Can you hear that
So-
dog? Should I?
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
All right.
All right.
That's there are so many. The dogs, much like the children in this town, have been put through a rock tumbler. They are the most beautiful dogs I've seen. They
Yeah.
are all middle to large size dogs,
Yeah,
and
hiking
saw-
dogs.
I think they were Australian shepherds or like they were shepherd
me-
varieties.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me close
Oh, is
this
it
window.
distracting for you? Okay,
Yes.
go for it. All I'm saying is these dogs are gorgeous. They've been. I think that they have a groomer that lives in, because these dogs were just too clean and too.
Right.
I was just telling our listeners that the dogs are too clean, and that they're. I think they had a live-in groomer, because the dogs didn't look like they had any dirt on them ever.
I maybe at one point in my life I could just live in groom in a billionaire's house if I could live in Telluride. You know, like 5 days a week I clean your dogs, and then the other 2 days I go have coffee at a local shop and ride the gondola.
Oh God.
Are you
there is-
getting like
yep.
seasick on the gondola?
Yeah.
Okay, that really
Yeah,
sucks.
It's so it helps. It helps if there's anyone else in the. There were
Yeah.
two people in the gondola who sat in, and they were like, "We're not interrupting your solo time, are we?" And I said, "No, thank God you've come." And they were these two women, the mother and daughter-in-law, and their husbands love blues. They didn't even have wristbands. They were like, "We just came. We're going to go to dinner." And I said, "Well, if you guys want to come to the show at the art gallery tonight," and I was like, "Oh, but you don't have wristbands?" They won't care. Just
Yeah.
invoke my name. Invoke my name. And they came. They brought their husbands,
Nice.
What?
and none of them stayed to say that I did a good job. But I don't. The dad was super chatty before. He was like, "So where do you live?" And I'm like, "At sea level." I'm sick of getting that question.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and yeah, but yeah, so. But yeah, they came. So it was funny because Elliot was like, "Were you barking?" And because I was just flyering people, please come to the shows. But I did go to there's the coffee shop restaurant that I really liked. I've been there twice now. It's called The Baker and the Butcher, or The Butcher and the Baker. And wait a minute, it is. We're at 50 minutes. Hang on. Talk to Kyle for a second.
We can stop early. We went through a lot of audio tests. We did some troubleshooting that NASA would be impressed with, and it turns out my new headphones have a mute button. So that was the problem. But
solutions are solutions. Why
They are
the
solutions.
journey? Like, no one needs to see that. We're at the hour. You didn't need to see the years of prepping it. Like, this is the final product.
True. I'm not used to working with these headphones, so now I know every day is a new learning opportunity. Sounds like Jackie might be bailing.
I think she's doing the rental car stuff. I laugh. Like, I too love dropping off a rental car at a different airport. Like, we're discarding it.
When you plan it, they charge you at least $25.
They
But this
sure
must
do.
be a huge problem. This must be like 100 or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Love that rental car game. Starting to miss it. I think the Ford Fusion is no longer one of their go-to rentals. I don't know what I'm going to do.
They tried to at Enterprise when I showed up to get the car for the weekend for just Sonora. Jackie, I'm telling a rental car story.
Rental car story time.
So I go to Enterprise. I agreed to, I forget what the price was, like $55 a day or something like that, and for whatever kind of car. And then they're like, "Oh, we're out of that car." Usually they bump you up to whatever the new car is, and then they tried to charge me the new car price, and I'm like, "No, I this is the price I agreed to." And he did the old "let me ask my manager." And he did, and his mystery manager agreed to do what the law says they have to do anyway. I think they just try to get you any way they can. So are you okay? What's happening now?
Right. So he just got here 10 minutes early is what he did.
Okay.
So I had to step away from the show because you guys, it's a real glimpse into what the show is, and and give him the keys and give him money for gas, because there's no gas in it, and then money for being the guy who does this.
So he's taking the car right now. Thank God. It's off your hands. And he works for the company,
it's off
so
my hands.
You sign things, goodbye.
He works for the transportation. He works for the Telluride Festival.
Oh, so is the rental
transportation?
Did you have to notify the rental car company that somebody else would be driving the car?
I did yesterday. I know. I did not tell them that. I assume they will charge me whatever they charge me. Because the woman I talked to, when I said I'm returning it to somewhere else, and I'm returning it a day early, and I'm not returning it. And she was like, okay, I don't know what that'll cost. And I said, I don't care. And,
no, don't tell that to a rental car company, Jackie. Oh my God.
You just told a story that said said it. But I was talking to Andy, and I said, I'm just doing this. I won't. And he was like, yes, just do it. And I said, thank you so much for supporting me. And he goes, because again, I don't want to be a burden. And he goes, well, Well, it's the least I could do, because that's what he always says. He goes, "That's the least I could do, is to sit here and not be able to help you." And, and I said, "No, I think the least you could do would be to tell me to suck it up and to 15 miles an hour drive down to Telluride." And he goes, "Who do you think you married?" And I was like, "Point taken, point taken." And so, yeah,
right.
that's the good news there. And so I'm gonna find the rental car agreement and sort of send him a copy of it too. So via text. He was like, "What is your last name?" The guy who I just gave the keys to.
Oh God, Jackie.
So it's very terrifying. You would have loved him. He was very handsome. I was like, I should have had him do a little guest set, just kind of pop in and go, "Hello." And he seemed age appropriate. Double our age minus 7. Which is
Jackie,
that thing from last
was
episode
it?
that made
I
me
wonder
laugh.
if the
You gotta add 7.
Oh,
remember when when I was there last year, I was talking about the shuttle car guy who's like older than us, who bought his house in the 70s and is now like, he just does shuttle car stuff for money, like extra cash. He just had like a regular normal job. I forget what it was, but you didn't need that much to live there back when he started, and so his house is paid off, and he's just an older guy just doing shit for cash. I wonder if it's the same guy. I bet it was.
no, he's a production guy. He's an audio
Oh,
video
okay.
guy.
All right.
And
Never
he
mind.
also helps with transportation. So he does production for the festival, he said. His name's Jeff.
No, I don't think this was a Jeff.
Thank you very much.
That
And he
guy
was like-
was. Oh, my guy was like one of the older boomer names, like Steve or Paul, you know, Dave, something
Right.
like that.
I handed him a stack of cash, and he looked very shiny and very handsome, and he was like, "Are you sure you want to give me all this money?" And I said, "Yes.
Nice.
I want you to take that car away from me."
Please don't crash it. Please don't crash it.
Let's just say this: it wasn't a money gig. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit on tenterhooks until he said, "I'll text you when I drop it off." And I said, "Yes, please. Thank you."
And just to tell you right.
No, the Montrose Telluride Airport.
Okay, that's a couple hours, right? That's
Hour and a half.
yeah, that's a bit. Once he gets out of the mountain, it's like just regular 2-lane highway stuff. It's not crazy.
Right. It is Banana Land. Here's what I'm going to gift myself, Laurie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this to the people of Jackie and Laurie Land. Feel free to email me if you're angry that I want to stop 2 minutes early. But I want to stop 2 minutes early.
It's empowering.
That's fine.